All right, good morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Night, appreciate that. The night way. Thank you, brother. Morning, everyone. Margin. Dino. Yash. Ricky Bobby. Golf Nut 3D. Rusty Kavi. David Chef. Closer. Kenny. Pat. Tony. Anna. Ghost. Aiden. Robert. Who'd I miss? Deb. Morning, Kevin. Morning, Bob. How we doing? The termite guy. You guys need termite removal. Hit up the termite guy. Morning, everyone. Buddy, yeah, buddy. It's getting nasty out there, but I hope you've embraced it because the trading opportunities they've been there, no doubt. They have absolutely been there. Do I put this light on today? Do I make it red? I think it's probably only right for that to be red back there. Morning, guys. Yeah, that gap fill on SPY to end the day, man. I'm a little bit upset about I had a really good day yesterday, and I sort of just told myself to walk, and I stuck by it, which I'm happy I did. But yeah, that gap fill to end the day was that was pretty easy. I mean, it's not often it's that easy. I mean, that was probably the easiest trade you could ask for. The end of day SPY 590 rejection for the 590 to 585 gap fill. That's just, I mean, this is free. That was free money. And that was that was SPX contracts like up hundreds of percentages. So a little bit upset seeing that this morning. Just a little bit. That could have been a nice cherry on top to end the day. Yeah. But I think a lot of us were really, ready for it. And if you caught it, man, and I hope maybe I prepared that for you, I'm happy about that. That was about as free as it gets. That was sick. All right. Well, it's been a fantastic week. It has been a just beautiful flowing downside market. Have been trading that bear flag, breaking retest rejection to perfection, pretty much bear flag rejection to perfection, pretty much perfectly all week, and it's been pretty nice. So let's see what happens today. We are at a very, very big SPY level, very, very major 585. I would assume my gut feeling tells me to be careful shorting into a hole today. That's just my gut feeling. Now, the market could stay very weak like it has been, but there's going to be one of those days that retail gets a little bit too comfortable just buying puts, and they get absolutely destroyed. So I think that's I think that's going to happen at some point. So I'm just trying to be cautious. The lower we move, the more cautious I am, right? Of keep on looking for downside and downside and downside and downside. But we'll let the levels decide that for us. The levels have very clearly decided the direction of this market. Yesterday we talked about how we can't be short or we can't be long if we're under that 60-25 ES, that 100 SMA. We never got above that. We rejected it again. And so let's just keep following the levels. There's a very clear bounce and fade level today that I would want to wait for to be long, or I'm sorry, to be short. There's a very clear bounce level that I think you want the market to move up into before you play rejections today. And we'll go ahead and talk about that. Yeah, the market has been bounce and retest rejections, right? Break and retest rejections, but it always comes after a pushback to the upside. So there's, again, no reason to short into a hole. There hasn't been a reason to short into a hole all week. You don't need to chase low-a-day breaks. There has been very clear pops that turn into fades, and so that's the best short. The best short in a bearish market is shorting the upside moves, and that is what I always recommend you do in a bearish market. There is no reason to be shorting into holes and chasing breakdowns through new lows. You wait for the bounces, and you look to see if they fade. And let's see. That's going to be a very possible trade today at a very key level on the ES, and we will talk about it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Press that like button. If you guys could, subscribe to the channel. We're getting close to that 100K. Game planning, what I want to do for that 100K, we'll do something special, but we're getting close. We're about 657 away, 657. We're getting there. Options insider sign is red behind me for the theme of the market. All right. Let's do it. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Here we go. So first things first, we do have economic data today, which actually is pretty major economic data, I'd say. This definitely could move the markets a little bit today at 8:30. So let's be aware of that. That is the PCE price index. So we shall see a good, I'm happy it's in the pre-market because we'll have a good feel for what the market's looking like before we open, and we'll be able to see what, if we get a push on this, is this going to be our fade, right? Maybe we get an upside move on this PCE, which actually might be the perfect opportunity to refade it, or we just capitulate on this news, right? Maybe it's another huge downside move on this data, which actually could be some kind of capitulation. It's going to be interesting. So let's see. 8:30 of, obviously, we'll just use the levels as we always do. 9:45 Chicago PMI. 10:15 we got some FOMC members speaking. All right. So big data. 8:30. Any earnings last night that I need to be aware of? Earnings last night. Dell, SoundHound, how'd they do? Fubo was this morning. What'd Fubo do? Fubo not going anywhere. How'd Dell do? Dell, lower. No bueno. How'd SoundHound do? Nothing. How'd Duolingo do? Down. Everything down. All right, let's jump in. Let's lock in. Last day of the week, guys. Just a little, psychology for you today, or a little mental for you today. Don't mess up your week. It's been a beautiful week. If you've been catching this downside, don't mess it up. I would say, I'm definitely taking it a little bit light today. I've had a great week. I don't want to do anything stupid. And let's just cruise into the end of the week and move on. But maybe there's some good opportunities today, and we shall see. So, what have we been talking about on the NASDAQ futures all week until yesterday? We've basically just said, don't long this market until a key level breaks. Do not be the person that longs the market until we have some kind of a bullish flip in market structure. And pretty much the entire week, guys, we have just sold off the exact same level the entire week. So really not that difficult to catch the downside if you are just staying open to each direction and staying open to key levels. There has never been a reason to even long this market. There has never been a reason to buy options on the call side, on the left side of your options chain, if we've stayed under this 21,450 level. So that happened again yesterday. We just rejected that level like we did the day prior, and we sell off again. Quite nice. Now, if we go down into the 15-minute, we can start to see some new levels that are really, sort of showing themselves. This zone right here between 21,160, 21,200, which you originally had around 150, I had it at 150 to 200. I sort of moved that up into 160 because we can see right there that very clear 160 spot is quite nice. So 21,160, 21,200, very clear level there. And that was a very nice rejection into the afternoon. That were some previous lows and some previous lows here that once again rejected there. So that sort of facilitated the next downside. After we broke under that 21K, 20,950 low that we made on the intraday, it was pretty much just free fall from there, which also lined up pretty much perfectly with the gap fill on the SPY, right? That gap fill on the SPY is what really facilitated the downside. Now, today's pretty damn clear, man. You got a very clear 200 SMA just sitting here at 20,700. That's about as clear as it can be. 20,700, 20,700, 20,700. So if we don't get over 20,700, we are not going higher. It's just not going to happen. So that is the level you're watching. 20,700, 20,700, 20,700, 20,700, 200 SMA. If the NASDAQ futures does not get back over the 200 SMA today, we are going to see downside. So that is very clear. That is the level to watch to start. Now, if we get above this level and we do reclaim the 200 SMA into close today or into the intraday today, and let's say we see something like this where we start to hold above it, that probably gives you something of a relief bounce, right? And I would say a relief bounce would take you to this area right here, around 20,865, and possibly back into the previous day double bottom lows on the intraday, around 20,950. I think the best short opportunity today is likely something around here, 20,950. That is this double bottom low from yesterday, and that is probably a nice little fading opportunity that you can look for today. I like that 20,950 level. You could look for this 20,865, which is this little rejection from yesterday, a very clear sort of break and retest fail. I like that as well. You can put that on your charts. 20,865, 20,950, definitely two levels that I would be watching for any type of pop and fade action. Okay? You could definitely look to fade the 20,700 level today as well, but you will need to be aware that you are shorting into a 20,500 pretty major level on the NASDAQ futures. So just be careful if you do fade anything at 20,700 today. Make sure you understand that you're really only looking for maybe that scalp short into this low. And then if you do get through this low, then you can sort of reinitiate and get more aggressive, I'd say. Maybe back down into 20,300. So a little bit cautious here, right? But we'll probably get the clarity we need in about 17 minutes. We'll probably get the clarity we need in about 17 minutes, whether the NASDAQ is under this level, right, or above the 200 SMA. I would assume this data could definitely get us outside of this channel to start the day. So we shall see here in about 17 minutes, I would assume, which side of this channel we're going to be trading on to start the day. All right, so pretty clear in my opinion. When you zoom into these, very key short-term levels, and if we look back a little bit further, we can see that this low here, 21,030, 21,950, and this 20,865. For now, very clear rejections under the daily 200 SMA on the NASDAQ futures at 20,700. If we do not have any attempt higher above that level, then I would say the weakness definitely stays in. If we get above 20,700, then we have a relief bounce on the market today, right? Maybe some put profit taking and some VIX crush, right? And maybe a little bit of a dead cat bounce. And you just don't want to be shorting into a hole on a Friday, right? So that's the NASDAQ. QQQ. 499.70 is a pretty monster spot. Let me go ahead and show you why. 499.70 is, let me go ahead and just delete this for a second. 499.70, which is also pretty much 500, is this exact 4-hour low. It's right here. Take a look at this 4-hour low. This 4-hour low, right here. right here from back in January 13th. January 13th on the QQQ. The exact low there, 499.70. Very key. We are sitting right there. So that's going to be huge. Do we break that? Do we break that 499.70? The daily low, yep, exactly 499.70. So that is a big ass spot here today, guys. If we break this low right here, I would say you're looking at probably the gap fill. This little gap area, I would say maybe down to 494, 492, and that 200 SMA. That would be the spot to look for if we do break that 4997. So if I go into the short-term time frames, you guys can see if we break that 499.70 here, that 500 spot, I would assume you start to navigate towards this 200 SMA, down towards this 494 to around 492. This is your next big demand down here. So that's something I would watch today. If we see fails under this 499.70, under this 500, if we see the retest rejection, I'd target this low down here around the daily 200. If we hold this level, 499.70, 500, and we see a bounce off this level today, I think you do need to clear over 504 to really even consider looking for upside. What is 504? 504 is right here. Let me go ahead and show you what 504 is. I'm going to go back to that larger term look, and I'll show you 494. 494 is this previous July all-time high right here. It's right in here. Did I say 494? 504. Sorry about that. I think I said 494. 504 is this high right here. And that could be a little bit of a rejection spot today, in my opinion, around 504. Right around these highs. And you can see yesterday on the short-term time frames, you saw those rejections underneath it right there. So a little bit cautious, and you can see this 504 area is definitely sort of keeping us lower, in my opinion. It even looks like you have, to be honest, it even looks like you have this right here, 506.50. See that? Let me go ahead and take this off. See this right here? 506.50. So I'd say 504, 506.50, and then back to these lows around 510 to around, I would say that 509. Right there. 509. Bam, 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 bam. Those are your levels. 504, 506.50, 509. Those are next three supplies above. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, previous daily double bottom lows. Okay? So, if you get bounces today, those are your fade spots, right? We look to see if we fade at these levels. I like this one the best, right? I like this one the best. Why? Because it sort of brings us back through this pretty much straight down move. Give us the straight back up. Give me a new fader, right? Give me a new fader move. That would be my favorite. Because you have absolutely extended yourself, right, to the downside, and you saw where that previous fade came off of. It was after some rejections of these previous lows, right? So you extend yourself, you sort of consolidate, find a new high, drop lower. I would probably want to see us sort of now consolidate through here, turn these previous lows into new rejections, right? And then create that new downside move. I don't want to just short into a straight down hole. So I would love the retest right here. That is also the previous lows. If we zoom in on this 15-minute chart, you guys can see right here, 509 area, 509 area. It's really like 509 to around 510. It's like a nice little zone there. I wouldn't say it's exactly 509. It's probably more like 509 to 510. 509 to 5010. Right there, right there. I like that as your best fade spot. But do we even get there? I couldn't tell you. We shall see. Bruce. Appreciate that, Bruce. All right, S&P 500. Here is the if you want a sign of life, okay? If you're out there searching for a sign of life, right? Desi, give me some reason not to be so scared. Desi, give me a reason not to sell my entire long-term portfolio. Give me something, right? This is the bull's saving grace here, okay? Here's your bullish saving grace, or the absolute meltdown saving grace. It is right here on the S&P 500 futures. That's it. That is must, right? This is life or death. Not actually, but it sort of is. It sort of feels like it, right? This is a major July high. This is a major August high. This is a major September low. A major October, November low. A major December low. This is a multi-month major level at 5,800 to 5,850 on the S&P 500 futures. This is also the daily 200 SMA. So this is a juicy spot. And I would not be shocked to see something of a relief bounce off this level. I really wouldn't be, right? This would be the level, in my eyes, that the market makers would love to punish late shorts into, right? Punish the retail chasing put action, right? After already a beautiful 7% downside and plenty of opportunities to make money, the people that are now buying the puts way late on a Friday into this huge, huge area. To me, that makes sense today, right? I would not be shocked in the slightest. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if that is the outcome of today, that you just hold this level and sort of grind higher, and you see more, you probably see some kind of a short covering zombie grind, I wouldn't be shocked at all. I wouldn't be shocked at all. So that is absolutely something you need to be cautious of today. You need to make sure you have that in your mind. You need to be very careful of buying puts right into this 5,850 to 5,800 zone. That is definitely somewhere I think you could see some kind of short covering zombie grind to the upside that has the SPX puts just sort of get totally crushed, and everyone that keeps buying them today is sitting there until 4 o'clock, hoping and praying that something goes down. Right? That's the type of day that I think you could see. So I am cautious of that. Before I start shorting today, I am very cautious that this 5,850 to 5,800 zone is a major daily demand with the daily 200 SMA, and I don't think you really want to be too aggressively short into that. I really don't think you want to. So I would be careful there. Where would I want to be short into today? There's only one spot. For me, there's really only one spot that I'd want to be aggressively short today. It's right here. 59.35. That is a very clear double bottom low in this market. That is a clear as can be Tuesday low and Thursday after early morning low before the breakdown. That is about as clear as it gets right there. That would be the pop and fade that you're looking for. That would be the gorgeous rejection play. That would be the same rejection play that happened all week this week at the 100 SMA, right? We talked about 60.25. We talked about the daily 100 SMA, and we said do not long this market if we're below that level, and that is absolutely what has happened every day this week, including yesterday. So I would really like a pop into this 59.35. I think that could really set up a nice short today if we can get that. That would be special. Do we get it? Couldn't tell you, right? We'll see in 5 minutes maybe. But for now, things are staying very weak, slightly higher in the pre-market, but really nothing to take home, to talk about. I don't know the saying. I'll move on from trying to say that saying. Yeah. 59.35. You guys, I think you guys probably knew what I was trying to say there. 59.35, 58.50. I would want right here. That's where I'd want. And I'd be careful if we just sort of drop into this 200 to start the day. I'd be careful of some kind of harsh reversal here. Okay? Now, I will go worst case scenario here. Okay? Here's worst case scenario to write home about. Thank you. If we break under 5,800, that is not good. Okay, let's just put it at that. If we break under 5,800 on the ES, that is definitely a little bit of pain. That's a little bit of pain right there. Under 5,800 on the ES. I'd say under 5,800, you go into around the 57.35 right in here. Under 5,800, you're coming into around this 57.35 spot, which is right around here, right at these previous highs. That would be where I'd expect we move it lower into. But 5,800, man, a break under 5,800, you guys can see how big that is. That is a huge break below these highs, a huge break below these lows, a huge break below these lows, and a huge break below these lows. That is a huge break. So, that is something we need to watch today. 5,800, you break that, could be free downside. I would prefer one of these boys right here. Okay. SPY. That pop and fade idea becomes valid right in here. 590 to 591. Right here. Right here. Pop and fade. If we can get that, that would be something I'd really look for. The absolute free downside yesterday under 590 is incredible. I can't believe how clean that was. Congratulations to those that caught that. That was our gap fill level from 590 to 585. That was absolute juice right there to end the day. 585 is a big spot, without a doubt. 585 is a big spot, without a doubt. Let's go to these daily levels. Anywhere between this 585 right here, these highs right here, and I'd say these lows around 580 is going to be a big zone right here. Anywhere between 580 and 585. You break under 580, that's probably very similar to us breaking under 5,800. Okay? I would want this right here, because this is how you've shorted the market all week, and you don't want to just start changing that because of you wanting to be having FOMO. The short has been at the supply high that we couldn't break above, right? And the retest rejection. This is your next retest rejection. This is your channel, and here's your new channel. Something like this, right? So I would want to short here at the rejection point, at the previous lows, not chasing shorts into lows. So we'll see if we get it. We'll see if we get it. 590, 591. That would be great. Okay. We got about 50 seconds until some fireworks potentially. Let's see what happens. What do we want to look at? Let's go ahead and look at the NASDAQ futures, and let's see what happens at the 200 SMA or at these major 20,500 lows. Let's see here. All right. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. $20 seconds. $10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Nothing, huh? Something's coming. I wouldn't be surprised to see upside. A little bit now, but not enough. Not even close to over that 200. Yeah, I mean, really nothing, huh? I'm sort of shocked. I thought it would have been a bigger reaction here. Maybe still underdeveloped. Maybe still developing here. I would not be surprised to see upside to start the day. You have probably a lot of open puts and a lot of desire to crush them. You cannot be the last one standing. You always need to remember this. You cannot be the last one there, okay? When everyone starts screaming full port shorts in my live stream chat, you probably know it's time to start taking your profits. All right? Sounds about right, doesn't it? When everyone in the world starts waking up and say, "Oh shit, maybe I'll buy puts now," it's probably time to not buy puts. Okay, so you're getting a little bit of upside. Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. You're coming off a huge SPY and ES demand. And I, again, would want to see upside before I look to short. I'm not bullish on the move that's going on. I am actually wanting this to go higher to re-short the market. Right? So I would personally, if you want to short today, I would want to look for upside. Right? I would want to look for upside. So look to see if we can get that sort of squeeze higher, sort of that short covering move higher into 59.35. That would truly be what I would like to see. But we can see we have not even cleared that 200 SMA on the NASDAQ, so this is a meaningful upside move still, right? This is still a very meaningless upside move. Totally meaningless. This is totally meaningless. If we do not get over this daily 200, this might even just fade to start the day at the 200. I would prefer us higher, but if this just fades to 200, then that's very weak. Yeah, because we're not even close to over that 200. So, meaningless. Totally meaningless. Until something breaks. Okay? Alrighty. So, let's see. Keep me updated. We'll see what happens over the next 30 minutes to see what the market does. But once again, I want to make it very clear. I would want upside to re-short the market. Upside to re-short the market. Guys, did someone just ask me if I'm going to sell my Tesla shares? Guys, can we not sell our long-term portfolio because it's down over the last week? Can we not? Can we change? Can we change? Can we be different for once? Can we not panic because the market's down 4% after being up? Market is down. I mean, just sort of think about yourself for a second, man, when you say something like that. We're down from the highs 4%. From the beginning of last year, the SPY returned 31%. Why? I actually read this online. It's the expectations. That's a big problem too, in my opinion, for newer, like for people that invest. Their expectations are just that you're going to go up 50% every year, and that's it, right? And anything less than that is panic attack. Can we be different? All right, let's move on. Let's buy companies that we want to hold through and think of downside as opportunity. 214. Watch that, right? IWM 214, very nice rejection. Keep an eye on that today. I would also, right, take a look at how beautiful this was. 219, man. Look at that. We talked about this 219 rejection all week. Beautiful. 200 SMA, failure. today. Failure's 214. Okay. Dow Jones. What Dow Jones up to? Dow Jones, oh my God. Beautiful rejection, 44K again. What a fucking rejection that is again. And 43,250. So there's your channel again on the Dow Jones. Okay. SMH. SMH staying pretty weak under 230,250. You guys can see right here. This actually is a SMH rejection you could look for today. 230,250, 230,250. Keep an eye on that today. That could be a little bit nasty. 230,250 SMH. All right, let's jump into some stocks. Tesla. So, Tesla has hit our target, man. We've been waiting for this. 275, 270. That was our target. Remember? Who remembers? It was actually, it was like 270. 270, 275. Right around here. This was our target. Gap fill on Tesla does bring it back down to 255, which maybe is possible there, right? If we get more downside in the market, you might get that gap fill. But this was sort of our Tesla big spot to look for on the downside. And what a short this has been. Absolutely just mindless shorts. So I would be very focused on what happens here between the 275, which is this low right here, I believe. Yeah, around 275. You might see a little bit around 275 to 270 today if the markets do find some kind of short-term bounce, right? Anywhere between this 275, 270. If you do break that 270, then I would say you probably look short into 255, right? And then we'll deal with this gap if that has to, if we start seeing that, we'll have to deal with that at that point. But for now, right, I would say a little bit cautious, shorting into the 200 SMA, right here, 200 SMA. A little bit cautious, shorting into the 275, 270, right? Just because you could see some kind of a short-term relief bounce. That doesn't mean you have to long Tesla, my friends. There is a difference between a relief bounce and being long Tesla. Okay, believe it or not. A relief bounce here probably just sets up a better short. So, everyone's screaming and hollering Tesla down to 250. Yeah, you're probably right, man. But guess what? That doesn't mean you short into demand, okay? That's probably why you might not be profitable, right? We still need bounces to find new entries, right? Look, bounce, new short, right? If you shorted into this hole, you lost, right? So bounce, new short. So let's let this thing bounce. I like 286. I like 286. 286 or once again that 293. These are the two spots that I would look for. Look to see if Tesla can sort of push higher into 286 today and see if that turns into some kind of a retest rejection. If we get over 286, then maybe we push back into the 293 and look to see if that turns into some kind of retest rejection. So I would watch 286. I would watch 293. I would look to see if we get those pop and fades. Those would be the levels to look for those rejections. Now, if we don't find any kind of strength today and we do just sort of drip lower, I think you can look for a 275 retest rejection. I think that is something you could try to set up. And then under that, right, you would trade it into 270. Under 270, I would definitely get aggressive, right? If we just sort of slip through 270, I would get aggressive on that breakdown of these highs. Probably to that gap fill that we just talked about around 255, okay? But man, oh man, what a level this was up here. Remember this? Look at that thing, man. What a beauty. Break, retest, bam. Lovely. Okay, so that's Tesla. I would be careful down here, right? I'd be careful down here at the 275, 270, shorting into that. I'd want higher levels to fade. All right, let's keep going. NVIDIA. All right, so NVIDIA is back in the deep-seek absolute destruction zone. This brings back some really bad memories. This brings back some really bad memories for me. NVIDIA, you guys remember when we were messing with this low. This was back on the deep-seek gap down. This is back when I was holding that big option position, and finally got that push out of it to give me some. It blessed me, right? NVIDIA blessed me money-wise. We're right back in it. We're right back in it. 215 to 218, that's your zone here. 215 to 218, that's your zone. If we go to the weekly chart, let's go to the weekly chart, right? You can see we're right back into those weekly lows. We're right back into those weekly lows. We're right back into this uptrend. 215, give or take 215, 218. If we go to the daily chart, you guys can see we're right back into these major lows, into these lows, into these lows. If we break this trend line and break to 115, oh boy, is that going to get ugly. Boy, oh boy, is that going to get ugly. So very much a watch today if we do break that. That could be sort of quick down to like, I'd say 110. Yeah, like this 109. I'd say quick down to 109 if we get that. But for now, right, I would not be surprised to see something, little something of a relief bounce at that 115, 118 zone. I would look for a few different spots today. I would look for right around this 122 right here. I think is a great first spot to look for a fade. Right around here, right? You can see right here, 122, 122, 122, 122. I think that's a good spot for a first fade, right? Look for something like that. And then this would be the best spot, 126. That would be the best spot. Previous lows right here, 200 SMA. If we sort of push back towards the 200 SMA, that would be a beautiful re-entry short. So 122, 126. Let this thing bounce, look for the fade. Let this thing bounce, look for the fade. Not interested in fading NVIDIA in the weekly lows around 115, 118. Might just be some lasting demand there that sort of just keeps it higher into end of week. Very cautious of being aggressively short into that low. Okay? AMD. Man, AMD is just giving. It just gives. Gives and gives and gives. And it asks for nothing in return. It gives and gives and asks for nothing in return. 106.50. What an absolute sexual retest rejection yesterday. Again, if we go out to the longer term time frames, you can see where this comes from. When we go back to the hourly, look at this level, man. 106.50. Bam, bam, bam. Break, retest, bam. So today, what's the level? It's right here. It's pretty damn clear. 103.50. Right there. Let that pop. Let that reject. Previous lows, I'd say you can even pop this up to like 104. Maybe you stay a little bit cautious in there. 104, 103.50. Lows, 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 lows. Break, retest, rejection. Retest, rejection. 103, 105. I'm sorry, 103.50, 104. That's the zone I'd look for. Broadcom. Okay, now Broadcom has a gap to fill. Now, this is definitely a big watch for me today. Broadcom, big gap. Okay, right here. Look, there would be no surprise to get Broadcom back to 186. That looks absolutely the correct place for Broadcom to go. Right there, 186. What do we need to see to get that gap fill? We need to see Broadcom stay below the 100 SMA today. Right here. 200, 201, right here. If we see this stay weak under this level today, why is that not working? Gap fill. Okay? Very clear. But we have to stay below the 100 SMA and this 201 level. Right here, right here, right here. If we can stay weak under this level, little fade, gap fill. Definitely a watch. Definitely a watch. Okay? This hurts a lot. This really hurts. This really hurts. This really, really hurts. Man. Man. Did I just get asked why I'm so bearish because the RSI is oversold? I didn't get into that question. 163, 164. This hurts like a... We've been talking about this. Oh, my goodness gracious. I got back home yesterday around 4 o'clock. No, around 3 o'clock, 3:30. And I was flipping through some charts. And right before I got to Qualcomm, I sort of paused. I said, oh, my God. I said, don't let me see it. Don't let me see it. Right before I went to the chart, I said, no. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. And I went to the chart, and this is what I saw. And I about had a panic attack. Man, what a beautiful chart. What a beautiful trade. What a just beautiful everything. Previous highs, lows, break, 4-hour bear flag, smackdown. I mean, just awesome. We've been sort of talking about this every day over the last few days on this live stream, talking about looking for the bear flag retest rejection on Qualcomm, and yesterday was the nail in the coffin, man. Look at that thing. So nice. So, keep looking for those setups. If the market stays weak like it is now, keep looking for those setups. I would say this trade is over, unfortunately, because you're back at the 153 demand. But guess what? You could look for it again, right? Maybe we get a 153 break and retest bear flag. So, let's see. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's put an alert there. Create an alert below 153. Let's see if we get hit. MU. Yeah, I would look for MU rejections here at under 94. Under 94, I would say you could definitely look for failures here. Right here. Under 94. Very well. Whoops. Sorry about that. Flashbang. You could very well see a drop under that 94 down into that 85. I'd watch that. All right, let's pick up the pace here. What do we want? Oh, TSM. Man, another beauty. Another absolute beauty. Previous lows, break, retest, rejection. My goodness gracious, is that perfect? What are you looking for today? You're looking for this previous low to turn into a rejection point, which already happened yesterday intraday. Previous lows, look at this yesterday. Look at this yesterday. Previous lows, break, retest, rejection. It already happened. So, what I would look for, 188 to fade it. Let's go to Netflix. Netflix has a monster gap to fill below, but do not try to fill that gap until it breaks this high. Breaks this previous high. You got to break below this previous high, 940. That is a major demand spot for Netflix. That's also the 50 SMA. If you break that, then you have a huge gap to fill. But you have to break 940 first. Okay? Costco's getting close. Oh, that's not a real candle, is it? It is a real candle. No, it's on the ask. Okay, it's 10 points on the bid ask. I don't. Oh, stop. Stop. Don't do it, Costco. Look at that. That would be insane if Cost is able to do something like this in this market. That would be insane. That's what we've been waiting on. We've been waiting on that 10-10. Keep an eye on Cost. Palantir. 85. We're under the gap fill level of 85. That's big. Right here. 85. Look for Palantir to stay short under 85. I would be a little bit cautious at the 80. There is demand here around 80 to 78 to 80. I'd be a little cautious into that. I'd look for the pop and fades at 85 for the real short. Under 78, you can fade this in the 70. So I'm going to set an alert under 78. I think under 78, you can fade this to 80. I'm sorry, under 78, you can fade this to 70. That's right here. These lows right here. That's 78. Under that, I think you can fade it to the 100 SMA. I would be watching that. Man, I've used and abused Palantir this week. I think we're up close to 70K on Palantir alone. Been a great short. Look at this short. Just right under that 94, 95 level all week. Beautiful. What else is like a good setup that I can think of really quick? Oh, APP. I would watch APP today a little bit. APP under this 300 area, under this 100 SMA, guys, there's not much support under there, right? Under that, you got 275. Under that, you're looking at 240, looking at 220, right? You could give this up. If this market stays weak, you could give this up. There's no doubt about it. So I would say watch this 300 area and that 100 SMA. You break this low and this low, you could go lower. I would watch that. What a beautiful rejection of 350 all week. Beautiful rejection of 350 all week. All right, we might need to head out. Let me flip through DesiTA real quick. Let me see if there's anything I want to go over. Oh, we're going to have to, okay, Google, Amazon, Meta. Let's go quick. Google. Break and retest bear flags all week. Thing of beauty. Thing of absolute beauty. Look at this thing. Break. Bear flag retest. Break. Bear flag retest. Break. Right? Look at this. Just stair-stepping downside. Short today, 174. That's your short today, 174. Amazon. Beautiful fade at our level. We had a swing trade on this one. 218.50. Beautiful fade. Today, you're looking for fades. I would really only look for fades right here. 213. That's my fade spot today. 213. 213 in the 100 SMA. Look for fades there. Apple, yeah, Apple 239 rejections could bring you to 235. 239, 239, reject 239, bring you down to 235. And then finally, Meta, 657 demand, 660 demand. What a beautiful 680 fail yesterday. Yeah, if you break 660 area, you probably move back to the 647. Last but not least, for you Bitcoin boys out there, we talked about this. IBIT, nice win yesterday on IBIT. I think you maybe get the 42. You might see a bounce before it. Maybe you get the 42, but we've been all over this thing. Low volume gap has been great downside. We're down into the 40s. We were down into like the 44s overnight. You are bouncing a little bit. We were down into like the 44s, and you're starting to bounce near that 200. So you might start to see some buyers down here. So that trade I took profits on into end of day yesterday, which I'm very happy about. All right, that's going to be it. NASDAQ, still under that daily 200 SMA, man. I think that's going to be your line in the sand today, my friends. That pop on PCE pretty much going absolutely nowhere. You're still under that daily 200 SMA on the NASDAQ futures. And if you're under that today, man, you're not going any higher. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Have a fantastic weekend, guys. We'll see if we hit 100K by next week. Tell your friends. Tell your parents. Tell your sister. Tell them all. Tell them to help Desi get to 100K. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for all the support, as always. Have a fantastic last day of the trading week. Please don't blow your shit up. Please be smart. Wait for a good setup. And I will see you guys on Monday. Peace out.